Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Bad Film Critic again. Um, so I just got done watching Mother, the movie with Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence, and boy, was it a doozy. I knew it was going to be weird. I knew that from obviously the director. He's known for making some pretty exquisite films, and they kind of kind of test the lines between being artistic and symbolic to it being pretentious. And me personally, I find his films pretty symbolic, but this movie, wow. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the channel real quick. I know it's October, boom, spooky month, and horror is my favorite genre. Okay, so every video that I do make, I don't know how often it's gonna be. I don't know a format or an outline of when I can post specifically yet. I probably won't know, but it's definitely gonna be a horror, and this is gonna be the first one that I make. I want to do like an old classic horror film, and I would say one of you guys comment what, but I don't necessarily get a lot of comments. So, but I'm gonna try to do a real classic horror film, like the original Halloween, or like one of the original slasher films. Um, Maybe like a real old one, like Dracula back in 1931. I want to do something like that, and that's gonna be for the entirety of the month. So there's that. But anyways, back to Mother. This movie was made in 2017 by Darren Aronofsky, and he's known for movies like Requiem for a Dream and Black Swan. However, this might not be his best film, obviously, but I think Black Swan probably takes the cake for that one. But personally, I definitely think this is definitely my favorite. This movie stars Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Michelle Pfeiffer, and a couple other people that I'm not familiar with. But this movie showcases a young woman who spends her days renovating the Victorian mansion that she lives in with her husband in the countryside, Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. When a stranger knocks on the door one night, he becomes an unsuspected guest in their home. Later, his wife and two children also arrive to make themselves welcome. Terror soon strikes when the wife tries to figure out why her husband is so seemingly friendly and accommodating to everybody but her. And that's exactly right. It kind of starts off exactly like that. This movie is definitely filmed from Jennifer Lawrence's perspective, and I'm gonna say that these actors, from their actual name, because a fun fact about this movie, it's kind of weird, and I don't necessarily see the point of this, but they don't have characters' names. None of the characters in this film have actual names. It's just him and her and woman and man. But this couple, Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem, seem to have the perfect life on the countryside. They have a beautiful home, and one night this man knocks on the door, and sooner or later his wife comes, and it just goes downhill from there. And it's just a bunch of fucked up stuff. It's very deep. It's very symbolic. It's very weird. And to be honest, I can't really tell you much about it because it'll kind of ruin it. Is because all of this film, it's one of those films that's all about interpretation. It's one of those films that'll be talked about for a while because everybody will interpret it differently. It has religious undertones, it has social undertones, environmental undertones, personal undertones. It has everything. In my interpretation, as I can already tell you, it's going to be completely different from yours. And I'm not even going to tell you my interpretation because A, it's probably stupid, just like everybody else thinks. But and B, it'll probably just ruin it for you. But aside from that, this movie's beautiful. I love the cinematography and the colors. I love the camera work. I love the script. I really do and did enjoy this film. And such a great performance from Jennifer Lawrence. And I've only seen a few of her work, and I haven't seen any of the Hunger Games movies. But from what I have seen, this is Jennifer Lawrence's strongest performance I've ever seen. It was really, really, really something. Um, you find yourself rooting for her because it's filmed from her point of view. There's a bunch of one shots that like for like up to 5 minutes is just the camera's just on her and following her through the house, and she's just so innocent and so vulnerable the entire film. And there's a reason for that, and I can't tell you until you watch it. But I loved her performance. It was very, very good. She probably gave the best performance that I've ever seen her do. And same thing with Javier Bardem. Not his best performance, but that makes it sound negative because it definitely wasn't a bad performance. No Country for Old Men will always be his best. But this was by no means a bad performance from him. But it was a strong performance from him also, and that's really all I can say, guys. Is that like you just have to watch it. It's on Hulu right now, so you guys could definitely go watch it. But it's all up to interpretation, and it's super deep with messages and symbolism and philosophical undertones. And honestly, this movie reminds me of Hereditary in a way. And I wouldn't say that it's nowhere near Hereditary. Hereditary is the superior film, and Mother is the inferior, and it'll always be that way. But I think it's in the same ballpark with a bunch of symbolism and a bunch of just weird questions. After you watch this movie, you're not going to know what it means. You're going to have to go to YouTube like I did and watch Found Flicks and watch all these explained videos about that I did, and I still don't get it. But honestly, that's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of it. It's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. The only kind of negative that I have against it is some of the effects, like at the end when everything was going hell in a handbasket, was the effects, like the blood and the explosions. Um, it was pretty bad. Not gonna lie, you could definitely tell it was poor CGI. But other than that, I really liked it. Honestly, I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10, and I definitely can't wait until Aronofsky makes another one. And he takes his time with his films, and as you can tell, it's been working because he makes good films, and he's a very individual, unique filmmaker, and I can't wait for his next work. And so that's about it. See ya.